Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. We're just, we're hanging out with the good boy, right?
Master, what did Miss Greta mean by concentration camps? And what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
You don't need to worry your pretty little head over that. Oh, Asterion. How about we talk about that another time? It's a complicated subject.
Sure, whatever you want, Master.
I hope dinner's ready soon. You and Asterion sit down, get comfortable, and have a short, pleasant conversation with some of the other guests while you wait for your meal. Soon after, Luke comes out of the kitchen and serves everyone burgers. You had a conversation with him, and for the sake of your and everyone's health, had asked him to be less generous with the condiments. Much to his chagrin, Luke had agreed to your request. The meal sits on your plate. Might still not be great for you, but there's not as much grease pooling at the bottom of the plate. Knowing the Minotaur's difficulty using cutlery and his reluctance to eat beef, Luke has taken the liberty of cooking fried chicken for Asterion, who appreciates the gesture. Until, that is, he has a bite and the Griffin's a 5-herb and spice mix would be more, but the hotel would had difficulty spawning some of them, do a number on his mouth. You make a mental note to have another talk with Luke, while Asterion swigs a bottle of soda, the one non-alcoholic drink Luke is serving today, in a matter of seconds. Asterion had politely turned down the beverage before, but will take what he can get in these circumstances.
To drink a beehive whole. But how could one want this? Such buzzing, cloying swear.
Sweet? Sweet. Oh, I thought this was an R. Whoops. Midway through his meal, Asterion stops and sighs. Is there something the matter?
It's just that Miss Greta is quite difficult, is she not?
Yeah, even her boyfriend hates her. Today I slipped up and
mentioned that I used to play the lyre. Since those words left my mouth, she did not stop asking me to hear me play it. So she got a few more people together to ask me to play a few songs before they depart. I couldn't get myself to tell them no. So, in a day or two, I'll perform a small concert for the guests.
Aw. Are you sure you're okay with it? You don't sound too enthusiastic.
I'll have to get reacquainted with my lyre. It shouldn't be too hard. I've played it for so long.
Okay. After your meal, the two of you climb the grand staircase and return to the master's quarters. Along the way, you have a small discussion about the day's events. Asterion is rather unhappy about having to take people to their bedrock of the hotel, but acknowledges that it's a necessary evil to give everyone else a better experience. Luke's presence down there was very comforting, despite him not being much help with the task at hand. He also talks about Greta. You both agree that, despite being more than grateful for her help, she is a very intense person. Asterion mentions she will be leaving in a couple days to continue her journey, but that that still gives you plenty of time to complete your internet project. In turn, you tell him about your run-in with Ishmael in the afternoon, but you have to take a break to explain what anime is. It turns into a rather long discussion, but Asterion is happy to hear more. You wonder whether you should show him some of your favorite shows once you get the Wi-Fi up and running. The two of you reach the master's quarters, and after a bow, Asterion heads to his room. Exhausted after a long day, you do the same. Hopefully, tomorrow you will solve the internet issue once and for all. Excuse me. Had he been left in the cold room for long enough, would his body have frozen and his last shred of mind burned up? It had crossed his mind often. Was it possible to ever turn into stone? For 80 years, he had thought, what if the next master was Clement's son? Or perhaps a long-lost and forgotten bastard of Jean's. But if he had the dark features of Joseph from 2,000 years ago, or perhaps looked like that Athenian man yet further into the past, would another Redeemer ever come? Asterion had built countless scenarios, crafted with an artisan's passion, made all the more vivid by the darkness and silence that surrounded him. But that's all behind him. Even if his bedroom is more claustrophobic than the cold room, tonight the Minotaur lays on his bed, so small for his frame. The sheets covering him make a labyrinth of valleys and peaks, snaking and bunching up around his body. In his sleep, he curls his fingers, shifting the cloth into a new spiral of snakes. Aww. Okay. He wakes up. Like a jolt of lightning, his mind is thrown back into existence, and he's conscious before he even is aware of it. What a night. It is as if he hadn't slept at all. No placid love making with the bed and pillow, existing here in this bed of snakes, eyes wide open, is discomfort of the most mundane variety. It is then that he says it out loud.
Will I ever turn to stone?
His mind, still in the reverie between dream and wakefulness, is assaulted by his momentous clarity. Clarity, yeah. An idea pulls him out of bed. For 80 years, he had been kept apart from a certain friend, one which he dreaded to see once more. But now it's so clear, so simple. What had kept them apart for so long, when they were so close? Still in darkness, the Minotaur gets up and opens his drawers. Okay. Armor. Yeah. Yeah. Once he is dressed, he looks behind the rest of his garments and finds his lyre. Oh, friend, indeed. His hand meets his the surface. Its surface, like a firm handshake. The strings hum as the Minotaur pulls the whole thing from its coffin.
While you live, shine.
Together they sneak out, two brothers giddy in their rebellion. The Minotaur doesn't dare rise his hooves for fear of waking up the master or any of the other guests as he makes his way down. Except for the stairs, he skates his hooves over the marvel, making a soft whistling sound. From the skylight over the stairs, the moonlight rains down onto the Minotaur. Were there a witness to see his descent, a blue veil covering him, and the instrument cradled on his chest, there'd be no doubt of his royal lineage. He makes his way to the reception, then goes out. A dark sky greets him with only the shyest slash of dawn purple. The Minotaur sits on the stairs outside and, without ceremony, plucks the strings. Oh, okay. It's like two lovers kept apart for too long. Oh, it's the title screen music. Okay. Their touch does not yield the desired reaction. It brings no moan, no of gratitude, nor a spine-tingling shiver. But as the Minotaur tunes both his lyre and his own ears, the embers beneath all the ash and coal resurface. A single note strikes true and makes his heart hum. But that's just the first string. He continues with the tuning.
Do you think I'll ever turn to stone?
His lyre lets out a hiccup, a note so sharp it hurts.
I used to like the idea, I did. But this is good, is it not? The gods left us no choice. We are here forever. But were this our everlasting destiny, I would choose to exist.
Overnight, oh my god. Overnight, a sweet dampness settle on the asphalt below, and now it creeps up to the Minotaur and sends shivers down his spine. Back in Gnosis, you sure? Knossos. How many times had his bedroom door been left unlocked overnight, allowing him to rise before the break of dawn to witness the palace coming to life? How many times had he done the very same thing to this hotel? One ought to not hold on too hard to these precious moments. The more one grasps time, the quicker it escapes. If Asterion had learned any lessons from his imprisonment, it was to let it all pass. Hold only a single grain of sand, just enough to make a pearl out of it, and everlasting memory. Nothing more is necessary. Footsteps creep from behind. The Minotaur does not look back, but his ears flick in response. Oh, okay.
Master Asterion. Good morning.
Excuse me.
Please forgive my intruding. No apologies as necessary, Mr. Coda. Did you have a pleasant night? Yes, I did indeed. Though the room was still a little musty, the bed was much more comfortable than any I'd laid in for quite some time. I had a very restful sleep, thank you. I'm glad to hear that you found comfort in our lodging. Very much so, and I wanted to apologize for what happened yesterday. I shamed myself as your and Mr. Josh's guests with my assumption. It's all right. Mr. Josh and I can see where you got that impression, but I assure you that we're dealing with things. It's water on the bridge, yes. Yes, that sounds good to me.
The conversation dies down, and Asterion's focus returns back to his playing. Each pluck of the string breaks the silence that had fallen with gentle grace, lingering in the cool twilight air until its descent replaces it. Asterion doesn't realize at first that, like the notes humming off the lyre's strings, Kota is lingering in the hotel doorway. When a polite cough slips into the sound of its strumming, his ear flicks to acknowledge the dragon's presence once more.
You're quite skilled, if you don't mind me saying. Such a pure, beautiful sound. It almost sounds like a Kota playing. The lyre. I've been playing it for a long time. It well shows.
Heat gathers in the Minotaur's cheeks as the praise draws a shy smile out of him.
Thank you. It's been a long time since I've played for an audience. So if you'd like to join me, Please, feel free. Don't mind if I do.
The dragon approaches, his footsteps quiet and measured, as though trying to keep from becoming an unwelcome interruption of the sound of Asterion's lyre. Kota sits, his back against the wall, and his gaze rises up to the starry sky. The pair allow their thoughts to wander as their ears take in the soft notes summoned forth by Asterion's fingers. Kota's tapping fingers find the rhythm of the improvised song, and then the dragon speaks. His words rumble out as a counterpoint to each strum.
Nice timing. 9 times rising. To see the sun, to see the moon, whose solemn pace marks only midnight yet. Forgive me, I was lost in thought.
Asterion says nothing, whether out of curiosity or servility. Even he isn't sure at the moment. Out of the corner of his eye, he watches as Kota's mouth moves, and then opens, and then closes, and then opens once more to share the thoughts ensnaring the dragon.
Sitting under the stars like this, listening to music and watching as the world awakens, it reminds me of the time I spent with a companion from long ago.
Asterion waits for any further words, but just that seems to have been a struggle for Kota to draw out himself. The Minotaur's fingers falter on the lyre's strings as he recognizes the solemn cast to the dragon's expression, the set of Kota's jaw, the faraway look in his eyes, the relentlessness under the surface of focused claim. How many times has the Minotaur caught that very same look, peeking at him from behind a mirror?
And is that companion no longer with you?
Asterion's hand almost releases the lyre in his grip to reach out and snatch the words back. He ducked his head.
I am sorry for prying. No, it is all right. I must say, you're very perceptive, Mr. Asterion.
Again, the sound of the lyre takes over the conversation. Wait, I just realized Does this have multiple variants for his outfit? Like, you get outfits depending on right? That'd be a lot, right? Like a lot of variants? Could he be naked here? Curious. Please, someone tell me in the comments.
I suppose now is a good time to act as any. I had been hoping to ask you, or Mr. Josh, this, but perhaps you would be better equipped to answer. Go ahead. If there's anything that I can help a guest with, I would be more than happy to assist.
Thank you. For a moment, Asterion's hands still on the strings of the lyre, but the darkness and vastness of the early dawn desert surrounding them spurts his digits back into motion. Kota notices the short pause and gives the Minotaur a grateful glance when the softly plucked music begins once more. At times, music can be just as effective as alcohol in both soothing the soul and loosening the tongue.
Has there ever been a dragon like me who has visited your hotel? One from the land of Nihon, with scales as red as fire.
A soft hum accompanies a sharp pluck of the lyre's string. The Minotaur thinks back, searching through old, faded memories of the many guests who have stayed over the centuries. When he comes up blank, he gives the dragon an apologetic shake of the head.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kota. My family and I have no memory or record of any dragon ever staying at our hotel, much less one from Japan.
I see. Kota nods in acceptance, and Asterion pretends to see the dragon's lips tremble. Pretends not to see the dragon's lips tremble. There we go.
I expect that to be the answer. And yet, I can tell that it still pains you to hear. My apologies.
Kota looks over to Asterion. Even without meeting the dragon's eyes, the Minotaur can feel how contemplative the other man's gaze is.
Perceptive, indeed.
Asterion continues to play, his eyes on some distant point out in the shifting sands. However, his ear flicks, an open invite for the dragon to speak.
Master Asterion, will you allow me one more question? Please, go ahead. Have you ever felt the pain of loss? Like some integral part of you had been scooped out of your chest, and all you can do is beg to turn to stone.
A sharp twang slices through the peaceful moment, making both Asterion and Kota wince. The Minotaur's hand moves to still the thumbing chord, but like his earlier words, the sound cannot be taken back in silence. He stares out at the wasteland surrounding the hotel. He wasn't expecting an echo of the thoughts that had pulled him out of the warmth of slumber from one of the guests. His finger moved back to the strings and plucked out a single note, and then another and another. Once more, the silence is filled with that sweet liquor that has kept their tongues loose so far.
I have. Truth be told, this is one of the reasons that my family and the Masters have maintained this hotel. We have hoped to make it into a place of healing. From wounded war veterans to those with nowhere else to go, we have strived to provide a place of comfort and security for all who pass through our doors. A noble effort, to be sure. How long have you been searching for your companion, Mr. Kota, if I may ask?
The dragon opens his mouth, closes it again, and then a faint, sick laugh slips from his jaws.
Long enough to nearly forget the beginning of my search. At least a century since I set out from Nihon.
Kota slumps against the wall, bone-deep wariness in every line on his scaled face.
I sometimes wonder if I will ever find him.
Old faces drift before Asterion's eyes. Father Minos and Mother Ariadne, Joseph, Jean, Mr. Josh.
While you live, shine. Huh?
Asterion blinks and then ducks his head. The sweet whine of the song has kept his tongue loose enough to to let the thoughts that had driven him from his bed slip out.
Sorry, I was lost in thought. But if you will allow me.
Kota says nothing, but a glance to the dragon lets Asterion meet the other lonely man's attentive gaze for the briefest of moments, long enough for the spark of understanding that had been smoldering in the early dawn. Yeah, the early dawn darkness to flare.
It is good to hold on to the memories of your companions, especially if you are sure that he is out there somewhere. And perhaps, if he is like you, he may make his way through our doors one of these days. And that's besides the point. Keep in mind that the past can consume and leave you blind to the present. Many of our guests in the past have that problem. So obsessed were they with what they had that they could not see what they could be. Forgive me, I am overstepping my bounds. No, you are wise, Asterion.
Once more, the two turn their gaze out to the desert, to the sky above, so much vaster than their tiny lives.
Despite a certain someone's presence, I had fun last night. It's been so long since I've just rested and talked with companions over a meal.
You can just say it was Luke, or Greta. Maybe both. Luke's fine, though.
I was hoping that, during my stay, you would allow me to interview any other guests that come by to see if they may be able to offer some lead in my search. But this...
He gestures around himself, to Asterion nearby, strumming on the lyre, to the porch all around them, sheltering them from the cool pre-morning air, to the view splayed out before them, beautiful even in this desolation.
Just this is something I've been missing almost as dearly. You are welcome to stay as long as you like.
Thank you. A smile flutters across Kota's face, but then twists into a small scowl.
If only it wasn't a certain someone in charge of that bar.
Asterion hums, allows the notes drifting through the air to punctuate his next words.
Master Luke can be too much. He is crude and crass, and often says the worst things in the direst of times. But despite that, he is also a diligent worker, and can you say your time in his bar was completely unpleasant? I suppose not.
Asterion looks over to meet Kota's eyes.
You must give at least some credit to him for that. What happened yesterday was unpleasant, that I saw with my own eye. However, are you going to let it color the rest of your experience here? If you two are going to be in a close proximity to each other, would it not be better to allow what happened in the past to remain there?
Water under the bridge. Kota's gaze drops to his lap, where his fingers fidget against one another. His nostrils flare as he huffs. He murmurs something that Asterion's flickering ear can't catch, then sighs.
I will think about it. While you do, would you like to keep listening to me play while we watch the sunrise together?
Okay. That was neat. Okay. Neato. I'll end the part here, so I'll see you around, everyone.